Hello, this time on Game Wolf Plays Wolfenstein 3D, I should have had a level preview up. I didn't. This is we're getting into strange territory, or strange design, where you don't think of it. It'll be like one big outer perimeter room thing, and then we go further in. I like this level. Is it my favorite level episode? I don't know. Do I like this level? Yes. So, if you want to give a thumbs up on this level, do that right now. Shout out to this one person who's liking literally everything I'm putting out at the moment. I don't know specifically who you are, but thank you. I mean, likes and subscribes are good. I prefer to get some feedback, though. Even if I know it won't be personal, because it's like, you can blog as much as you want about YouTuber content as YouTube blogs about his own content. So we can have kind of a turn-based feel. You know how message boards used to be. This is as close as we have now with whatever social media does. I feel like that could be turned around. I don't know. When I set off one guy, everyone else goes around too, so I can't actually rely on the map too much to see where the enemies are, because now they're actively moving. And plus, with a lot of these placements, sometimes they're not actually starting, they're not starting standing, they're moving on a set path that's marked by arrows according to this map editor. So they have, patrol routes, which I suppose is carried over for when they thought it was going to be a stealth game, but it still invents a strategy to it, especially when they make it so that they patrol through doors and stuff. That's not going to happen in this level, but there's other levels in which that does happen, so keep a lookout. If someone's randomly opened the door, it doesn't mean they spotted you, it just means that's how they guard shit. Also, it's not shoot double, it's whatever the SS stands for. The SSSSS squad. Look how many lamps there are. This is a very blue level. Look how blue it is, and its blueness. I suppose that's all the chemicals making it blue, right? I like how early 90s games, even as first-person shooters, are really colorful as compared to the later ones, which are, grungy and brown. I mean, I don't even think the color-wise, I just mean, in terms of atmosphere, where it's, debilitating and existential. But put both together, and you get an excellent slice of life. I feel like both counterparts to my psyche, practically. One, the colorful, fun part, and the other one being, the serious, existential part. Then you have one whole gaming wolf for sale. No, not for sale. I'm not a sellout. Though I would not kill myself for being that, because I like living still. Next up, ammo. Coming at you with the ammo clocker. What other advice can I give you? There's a area in this big brick zone where there's a bunch of walls to push, but you have to push the right ones, or you're not getting this shit ton of bonuses that you'll be able to see from the other side. That's another thing, is that level designers are going to like putting objects on the map just as obstacles, as a stand-in for actual walls that you can instead see through, but just put, strewn about, But it's more devilish. I know some custom packs like to do that a lot, where you just make a maze of, tables and pillars and stuff, just to be annoying. But, how annoying is it then, if you're into this stuff? Like making the world's bullshit acrostic puzzles, or Sokobons, or Sudokus. That's how I feel like this. What do you feel like this? I felt like a statue. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I forgot to do something. No, I'm really gonna... I think I'm doing better. I had to catch myself. I was just like, wow, I could really use a fun time. And then I'm like, this fun time's not fulfilling, so here I am, doing what is fulfilling. The Wolfenstein 3D playthrough. Yeah, okay. Okay, honestly, I think after this and Sphere of Destiny, I'm probably not going to do Wolfenstein 3D content for a little bit. Because I have to make sure it gets done. It's not a time thing. It's just, I've noticed that this game in particular takes time to play, not because of meandering. It is not because of that. It does take time to strategize. You might not think that with, like, you know, how basic this game is, but it's not as if I'm writing down my strategies. No. I'm acting it out. It's like it's a case-by-case basis. Like, you know, it's the same way if you play like a roguelike. You can't exactly plan out a roguelike, but you do have a strategy, and you try to follow it as best you can. And that's what I'm doing here. It takes the mental processing that you would never imagine that you had. It might not seem like much, but trust me, I definitely felt it in that huge maze in episode 3. Also, look at all these lives. I'll get them at the end, just so I could have 9 lives. Also, as a backup, in case I need health. And because there's 4 lives, that means I could go down to 0 ammo and be fill up. So, if you ever want to be sure that someone can beat a level with everything, just leave 4 lives lying around secretly at the end. I'm going to push the bird. You know how to push birds? What do you mean, no? That's not my problem, man. You're a bird pusher. Oh, snuck up on them because they wouldn't be able to see me until the thing moved. You know, they're expecting a door, then they're like, hey, who pushed the wall? But the AI can't detect the wall being pushed. This results in some funny things if you manage to push a wall into an enemy, which I wouldn't recommend because you'll bust up the intentional programming pretty good. I forget exactly what happens if you do that, but please don't. Please don't. It's for your own sake. There's some weird engine stuff going on that I kind of ironically love now that I know source ports would fix. And that would probably be one of those things. You never know how much the little source ports could fix over. This is especially applied to if you ever do source ports of puzzle games, which, A, why would you do that? It's a puzzle game. There is no B. It is that. Modifying a puzzle game's mechanics just breaks the puzzle. You shouldn't do it. Like, imagine making a source port for, like, tic-tac-toe. Don't ask how that would work, but somehow it would act differently. But it shouldn't. It's a simple thing. So maybe a better thing is, like, doing a source port for Sokoban. Because that actually has a chance of behaving differently, and you wouldn't know how. Like, if the boxes are pushed pixel by pixel, or if they're pushed more than once in one turn, that kind of thing. It's changing the rules, and the rules are the code of the game. That's why they call it hacking when you change the code. It's not so much... It's not just a messing around or something, or destruction. It's definitely not that. No, it's an exploration of rules. That's what hacking is. I'm not sure if that's the strict definition in the dictionary, but that is what you do. It's the closest thing you have to a modern wizard is what hacking is. Okay? Wizards are what we're talking about today. Wizards. Also, what kind of jackass names himself a wizard to not actually be a wizard and not to be a wise bastard? I don't know, because people do that. Try to sound cool with terms that make them seem likable, but then being a total... I don't know. Words are funny that way. Since you can't actually copyright words, they tend to be beholden to whoever is using them. I figure that's the reason behind copyright law, because they don't... No, that's the reason behind trademark law. So, like, ideas aren't defined by people other than who made the ideas. Even though that wouldn't be an issue if someone held on the idea, but then they change anyway because the ideas are held on by companies as opposed to individual people. So they change anyway, and it just becomes an opportunity for money. Really, there's no reason for this at all, except the people who make these good things for people need the money, and they're not getting it anyway, so it's like, why? Why publishers? Why do you do this? This is the internet. I'm surprised there's publishers anymore anyway. The only publishing you have now is like a centralized website. Or whoever is giving you the domain. We could have little juicy debates when I'm doing this. You know, actually, yeah. If I thought to have a co-op stream, that's kind of what would end up happening. This kind of debate stuff while doing a game where it's just like, oh yeah, there's a game going on. So it could be a podcast, you don't know. Nah. If I was more serious about a podcast, I would make sure it was I'd make sure there was a more, not really scripted, but more direction as to what topics I was going to refer to. Not that that wouldn't be fun to hear me ramble off without any visual input, but I crave visual input, don't you know? If it is all samey up in your face, put in. There's already a game at this position. I didn't know if I needed to quick save too much this time. Not really. I imagine there'll be more quick saving, though, ever since episode 3. So please, quick save responsibly, and stay quick saving, my friends. DOS Box Ekis.